Party or the UDA, the Jubilee Party that will carry the day. And so let's go to that Wajir story that I was talking about in terms of the impeachment of the governor and the swearing in of a new governor. And, let's stay with that Wajir story, and serious questions are emerging on the manner in which succession processes are being done following the impeachment And Jeff Kirui examines what appears to be politics at play.
The Senate has resolved to remove from office by impeachment Honorable Mohamed Abdi Mahamud, Governor of Wajir County. The governor accordingly ceases to hold office.
Barely hours after the Senate upheld the impeachment of Mohamed Abdi Mahamud as Wajir governor, the government printer was working overtime, and hours later a Gazette notice was issued gazetting the removal of the embattled governor and the date of the swearing in of the Deputy Governor Ahmed Ali Mukhtar. Never mind that the Senate vote ended at 9:15 at night, long after government working hours.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Defense lawyers led by Wajir, just after the verdict Monday night, electronically filed a petition challenging the impeachment. But by the time the lawyers of embattled Governor Mahamud obtained the orders from the Meru High Court, Ahmed Ali Mukhtar had already taken oath of office as the third governor of Wajir County.
The law says that you can only swear in 10 days following the impeachment on the Thursday. Even the date is known. So why the expediency?
There is no time limit, or there is no period stipulated after the governor has been impeached. It can be immediate after the Kenya Gazette notice has been released, and if it has been released, then I think whatever swearing in of the governor went on today, I think it's quite in order.
The haste in dispensing off with the matter has raised eyebrows, especially on the efficiency of government printer, depending on who is facing the axe.
Governor Mike Mbuvi Songo of Nairobi City County stands impeached.
But this is a too familiar script with a different cast. Take December 2020 for instance. Less than an hour after Senate upheld impeachment of Mike Sonko as governor of Nairobi, a Gazette notice was out. So was the case with Sonko's Kiambu counterpart at the time, Ferdinand Waititu, when the matter was hurriedly done. The haste in execution now shining a spotlight on the judiciary, a spotlight that now threatens to place the judiciary at the fore of political power play.
Ahmadi is in the business and is in the habit of swearing people hurriedly, contrary to the Assumption of Office Act. We are not going to stop here because that is misconduct on the part of the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary. She is not a person who is able to follow the law, and so we are going to take her on.
The quick gazettement at all material times, giving victims little or no time to seek legal redress in what appears to be a well-plotted and executed scheme to circumvent the law and have victims fight from the fence as opposed from within.
When an order comes in too late, after the swearing in of the governor has been done, it has been overtaken by events. The only thing you can now do is another recourse back to court and put things right. But the same order that has come when the governor has been sworn in, I do not think that order can be implemented.
Jeff Kirui, KTN News.
All right, so Wajir, the former Wajir governor was impeached by the Senate, and immediately, actually on the 17th, that is on Monday, and the same Monday, a Gazette notice was issued by Abdullahi Malim, who is the chairperson of the Assumption of Office of Governor, hence raising several questions, even through that story that has been filed by my colleague Jeff Kirui. Is it politics at play? Let me bring in Degwa Kiru's also, not a new face here on KTN News, and also to Kenyans because of the several cases that is handled at the Senate in terms of impeachment. And Wakili, good morning. So is there, good morning. So is there a time limit in terms of swearing in of the deputy governor to take over the county leadership after a governor has been impeached? Because that is the same concern that you're raising, is the same question that we are also asking as members of the Fourth Estate.
Oh, thank you very much. And maybe just to correct, my name is Wanjiro, not Keiro. But Keiro and Njiro, they are not much difference. They are all blacks. But importantly to note that we, in this country, because of the history that we've been having, all the way being triggered by the climax of the 2007 elections, when President Kibaki was sworn in at night, people decided to have a paradigm shift from the way we do things. And we agreed that we'll have a formula upon which a president will be assuming power. Mm-hmm. But remember now, we are now replicating what happens at the presidency level to happen at the county level. So we enacted what is called the Assumption of Office of the President Act. Equally well, we also enacted the Assumption of Office of the Governor. And that law is the one that guides on how someone is to take the oath of office, either following an election, mm-hmm. following the death of the office holder, or even following the removal of an office holder. If you look at Section 11 of the Assumption of Office of the Governors Act, it's very clear that there is a grace period of 10 days. And then the law says the new person coming to take over office shall take 10 days after the swearing in. And even the date is defined in that particular act. What is the mischief that that law seeks to address? It seeks to address, one, the craftiness in which we have seen the part of the judiciary executing these swearing-ins. Two, it created a statutory stay. A statutory stay is that grace period of 10 days, one, to organize on how the swearing-in is going to happen. Two, the person who has been either removed from office, mm-hmm. either through a way of impeachment or whichever way, might also be wanting to challenge that process in court.
But then, Wakili,
yes.
when you're also trying to put the blame on the judiciary, what you've talked about right now, and also what you said in that story that has been filed by my colleague,
yes.
Jeff Kirui.
Yes, yes.
We are seeing even the person who gazetted
yes.
that assumption of office
yeah.
was not the judiciary.
It is pure theatrics. It's pure theatrics because what we are seeing in Wajir is a coup. Is actually a coup that is initiated by those people who want to grab power in Wajir.
All right.
If somebody knew that the processes of the impeachment was lawful, why should you be in a hurry and the law will confer you the same post? Remember, the impeachment that happened to the Wajir governor happened contrary to the court order. Even the Senate itself had been stopped from proceeding with these impeachments. And so the persons who gazetted these processes were aware that Governor Mahamud still reserved his right to access court.
In fact, I was about to ask you that same question. Yes. It's good you brought it up.
Yes.
It was the next question. The next question was about to ask
yes,
you.
Yes, Brenda.
In terms of getting a court order to stop the impeachment process, so the Senate goes ahead against the court order, but also at the same time, you represented your client at the Senate Assembly, the 11-member committee that was hearing this impeachment motion. If you knew that your client had a court order, you should have stated that, and you should have not even continued with that hearing process.
We actually registered our objection. We informed the committee that there exists a court order and that the committee itself is not properly constituted. And not just the committee, even the Speaker himself of the Senate was duly served with these orders.
My question is...
Why did we appear?
Why did you appear in terms, even continuing with the hearing process from the beginning until the end, even when the Senate was giving its verdict?
Brenda, we appeared as a result of abundance of caution. Abundance of caution because we live in a country that graces impunity. We live in a country that observes the rule of law when that rule of law favors you, or when you so feel that it's going to oppress your opponent. So our appearance in the Senate was in abundance of caution. And nevertheless, whether we appeared in the Senate or we never appeared in the Senate, Governor Mahamud's goose was cooked.
So
Why?
are you indirectly saying that the governor did not get a fair hearing?
Certainly we didn't.
So what is the next move?
The next move is we shall press this case in court until the cows come home.
All right. So let's move on to my next question. The decision that was given, the court ruling that was issued yesterday, stopping the swearing in of the DG as the next governor. And I'm talking about Mohamed Ali Mukhtar as the next governor. He's serving as the next governor. And this court order was issued after he was sworn in. They were not served.
Let's have not that misconception that in Wajir County, there is struggle of power. There are no two centers of power in Wajir County, and it's only Governor Mahamud who is the governor. Why? Because irrespective of whether the order came after the swearing in, that is merely semantic. It's a simpleton ways of looking at things people want to have a look at.
So you're saying it's null and void? That's swearing in.
And I have seen Senator Madzayo indicating that the same has been overtaken by events. Madzayo needs to tell us, and I respect him because he's a judge, he's a former judge. In the event whereby the process that culminated into the swearing in of the so-called governor of Wajir has actually been stayed, how can then he claim to have been sworn in? Because you need to understand what happened, Brenda, in court yesterday. Yesterday, we procured an order stopping the implementation or the putting into place the decision of the Senate. Which decision? The decision to impeach. That decision was yesterday stayed and stopped from being implemented. What is the consequence of the decision of the Senate? The consequence of that is a swearing in. So, if the origin of the swearing in has been stayed, then how can you claim to be in office?
Wakili, just make me understand this and kindly make our viewers understand it in a layman's language.
Yes, Brenda.
You received a court order.
Yes, we did.
Stopping the swearing in of Mohamed Ali Mukhtar as the next governor of Wajir.
Yes.
That court order was issued after the DG was sworn in.
Why is this?
So my question is, are you trying to say that the swearing in of the DG was null and void and that Wajir County has only one governor who was the impeached governor and not Mohamed Ali Mukhtar?
Where did you get this, the word after from? Who took the record as to what time we procured the order and what time this guy was purportedly sworn in?
The reason as to I'm saying that you received the court order, I stand to be corrected by you. You were in court yesterday.
Yes.
It is because you also have our colleague, Alan Ochanda, who was in court, and we received the news alert.
These were processes that were simultaneously taking place. As they were preparing to do their swearing in, as we were in court, as early as 8 yesterday morning, we were in court.
Did you serve?
As early as 7, as early as 9 or thereabout, the judge was seized of our matter. So when a judicial officer is seized of the matter and is dealing with a particular matter, and another judicial officer is also trying to operationalize a matter in Garissa, who is in conflict here and who is putting us in this mess, the person putting us in this mess is the judiciary, because Justice Chitembwe did not appoint himself to go to Garissa to swear in this person. He was directed by the registrar of the chief registrar of the judiciary as the chief administrator. So the persons who are putting us into this confusion is the court, because the swearing-in process cannot supersede a judicial process. Because the judicial process, the High Court, is one that is the custodian of the doctrine of constitutionalism.
But then, Wakili, I understand what you're saying. I understand
Yes.
where you're coming from. You're representing your client. You have an argument before the court and before the residents of Wajir County as to why you're saying that the governor is still the governor of Wajir,
Yes.
despite all this.
And there is no doubt about that, Brenda.
All right, but my question is, Wakili, did you serve
Yes, the order
the
was
parties
served.
after he was sworn in or before?
Don't use the word after
Okay.
or before.
Did you serve the parties, and at
The
what time did you
parties
serve
were
the parties?
served. The parties were served, Brenda, and the operational doctrine here is that the process upon which the purported swearing in was done was stayed. I don't know why people are not pressing on the issue of staying the resolution, the implementation of the implementation of the resolution of the Senate, but you're only looking at the question of the swearing in. If the process of, if the decision of the Senate was stayed, there cannot be a lawful swearing in.
So both processes happened concurrently?
What I'm simply saying is, when the order of the stay of implementation and the suspension of the implementation of the Gazette notice communicating the idea of the impeachment was stayed by the High Court, we reverted back to a position of a non-impeachment.
Right.
We reverted back to a place whereby the Senate had not pronounced itself. The status quo obtaining before the impeachment ensued.
All right.
So the status quo obtaining before is that of Governor Mahamud being the governor.
All right, so what is the way forward? Because now...
The way forward is one.
Yes.
We must call the judiciary to order, and most importantly, the office of the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary. Why? I am not saying this because my client is affected. I am saying this because it has happened previously. And you put a question when you're beginning this debate. Why are Gazette notices in this country issued at night? I'm aware the law does not prescribe at what particular time a Gazette notice ought to be released. But granted the circumstances that we are people who are known to work during the day or during the light, when you issue a Gazette notice at night, you're simply telling us there is a mischief you're trying to address. Secondly, when you hurriedly go to swear in a governor, when you really know that the process in which this governor has been impeached, has actually been impugned in court, then you are trying to cast dust into that issue.
All right. So as you bring this conversation to an end, two critical questions that I want you to answer. I know a minute is less, but you're Wakili, you can sum it up.
I can sum it up.
The first question is, so where does this all, if allow me to call it confusion of assumption of office, leave Wajir residents? Who is their governor then, based on what you have explained to us? Because both processes were happening concurrently, the swearing in and also at the same time you're in court, a court order is issued and the DG is being sworn in. Then number two, you are smelling a political play in all this when it comes to the impeachment of the governor. Who do you think is behind the impeachment process, the push to impeach your client?
Well, let me begin by the first question, that there is no confusion, there is no power vacuum, there is no two centers of power. The moment the orders were issued, we reverted back to the situation where we were on Monday morning, and so Governor Mahamud is still the governor of Wajir County. Any person who might purport to think that he can grab power through back door, any person who thinks that he can cause a constitutional coup through a non-militarized junta, then should have probably some time to consult the law. Secondly, I do not want to attach liability on any person that so-and-so is the one who is behind the impeachment of Governor Mohamud. But suffice to note that the politics of the northern region are not natural politics that are premised on the natural axis of what might happen in Nairobi, what might happen in other counties.
All right.
In those northern counties, as I sum up, there is what is called the idea of clanism, which is very, very detailed. So when you see these people and even the swearing in, and when you see some individuals, I don't want to mention their names because I don't want to be cited for libel or slander, it's purely clanism at fight.
All right.
Yes, it's
All right.
clan supremacy that is fighting in Wajir.
All right,
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ndegwanjiru, a lawyer who's representing, allow me to say, until this is cleared by the courts also, the former governor of Wajir, Mahamud. But then he says, okay.
If you say the former governor Brenda, then you might want to tell us what is the effect of the court order.
All right.
Yeah, you cannot allow you to use that word.
Okay, so he
you
says...
You might want to use it in my absence here, but when I'm here, Brenda...
All right, Wakili
Asante
Sana, we need to wind up, but the battle is not yet over. Is not yet over. So they're going back to court just to ensure that justice is sought for his clients. But here on KTN News Center, it is a developing story. We'll continue giving you more updates as and when we get it. Time for a short commercial break. When we come back, we shall be talking about change of guard at the constituency level.